Fan club. Sorry. We're like a fan club. Oh, we are a fan club. This is happening.
Well, welcome to Texas, y'all. I think I can say that now. I've lived in Texas for 6 years. I work just down the street, University of Texas at Austin. I work in Sorority Fraternity Life. Hook 'em. I graduated from University of Michigan. That's also where I started working in student activities and leadership. But I'm originally from Fresno, California. And found out that Lawrence has some family there, so you got a connection now.
Grapes.
Grapes too, yes. But enough about me. There's something I've been meaning to talk about. It's on my mind for a while. I want to talk about the F word. You know, some people don't like talking about the F word, especially in public. It's a 4-letter word. It's a taboo, especially here in Texas. But WTF, we need to talk about it. Actually, we need more of it. Some people engage the F word all the time in public, in the halls, especially here today. Heard it happened in NPC's event earlier. What I'm talking about is feedback. Feedback is essential to everyone in this room. We have sessions on hazing prevention, yik yak, sanctioning, and Generation Z, but there's one thing we can all benefit from, and that's additional training on how to have constructive feedback conversations. So the feedback that I'm talking about is how, from where we are to where we want to be. Constructive feedback is the secret to our success. It's the missing link when we return home. But there are 3 ideas I want to explore about feedback. The first one is how we react to it. The second is why we need more of it. And lastly, what's missing from our current conversations. Have you ever received feedback, or maybe you've been giving it and you've not gotten the reaction you thought, right? And if you haven't, that's probably because you were the one looking like Nicki Minaj and bringing tons of shade to that conversation. When you are receiving feedback, you have an emotional, even defensive response to what you hear. There are 3 types of triggers that you may experience whether you're on the receiving end or the one giving it. The first trigger is about truth. And it makes you think or say, that's not true. That's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. As an example, I can't see what's happening right now when I'm talking to you. I don't know what my face is doing. I don't even know how I hear my voice, right? Only you can provide that information to me. And another trigger regarding truth is vague or unproductive feedback. The next one is about relationships. This is when you're distracted from what's being said because who is saying it. It also is compounded when, how, and where this feedback is taking place. The last one is about identity. And this trigger is really focused on about our story, about the values that you hold dear to yourself. If I was told that I was disorganized, I might say, yeah, okay, it's cool, whatever. But if you told me that somehow I was unenthusiastic and I lacked ideation, I'm going to feel some sort of way about it. So tough and big feedback conversations often are accompanied by truth, relationship, and identity triggers. We talked about that. But feedback doesn't have to be negative, and conflict doesn't always have to surround feedback. There are hundreds of opportunities to engage students and staff in constructive feedback conversations. There are 3 distinct types of conversations we encounter. When things are bad, when things could be better, and lastly, when things are good. What type of conversations are you engaged in? Think about the most recent feedback conversation you had. Where did it lie? If you're like most employees from a recent Gallup poll, only about a quarter of you are hearing about what you're doing well from a supervisor or manager. Can you imagine that? Days are too busy, you're putting out fires, you're missing opportunities to acknowledge the positive behaviors in your organizations. And in effect, create mediocre leaders and a disengaged staff. The most value and most important feedback we can provide to students, our staff, even colleagues, is going to focus on the good and positive. Having those conversations makes the crisis type of feedback an easier pill to swallow. Feedback highlighting specific positive behaviors creates trust, it builds connection, and influences behaviors, improves performance, and lastly, it keeps us on target. But what's our goal, right? Constructive feedback conversations help everyone become a better leader, create change, increase motivation, and involve supportive behaviors. Actually, a great supervisor or even advisors are along for the journey and help navigate that change. But if you walk out of a feedback conversation feeling belittled or shamed, that wasn't a constructive feedback conversation, that was everything but. And that's not going to unleash an innovation, change, or creativity. There's this quote, and I think John Wooden hit the nail on the head, because feedback, those moments where we hope to motivate and change behavior, those conversations are rooted in dignity and wrapped in worthiness. Friends, family of AFA, constructive feedback is about dignity, and that's what we're missing. So I didn't want to miss anything from the dignity definition, so there it is. Dignity is the quality or state of being worthy, honored, and esteemed. And for me, I thought worthiness stood out. Imagine what we could accomplish if conversations were rooted in worthiness, connected to dignity, framed not in the pursuit of perfection, but inspiration, motivation, authenticity, and improvement. Teams would inspire each other, leaders, whether staff or students, would surpass expectations, and communities would thrive. The future I just described isn't too far away, but it does require university staff, advisors, and offices to focus on feedback in intentional and deliberate ways. None of this laissez-faire feedback strategies that we're currently using, because guess what? It's not working. That's not what we need. What we need is constructive feedback rooted in worthiness and dignity, reinforcing those positive behaviors that we're missing, and understanding how and why triggers get in the way of that feedback conversation. We need to increase the tools in our tool belt, because the status quo of feedback isn't working. I've been fortunate enough to train students in classes, with our councils, and even staff about how do we create meaningful feedback conversations. And there's one question I'd like you to walk away with that can increase our effectiveness or initiate that feedback conversation. What is one thing I could do differently that can improve our ability to work together? Thank you.